All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Starboard Portal. We have Chelsea Carlson of SeaTactics on the broadcast today, giving competitors a briefing on the conditions ahead for the West Marine U.S. Open Sailing Series. If any of your friends couldn't make this, let them know this will be live on YouTube after we wrap, and they're welcome to view it on their own. With that, I'll pass it to Chelsea so we can kick things off and hear her insights on what's to come this weekend in Clearwater, Florida. Chelsea?
Thanks, Mike. Hey, everybody. Hope you guys are all doing well and hope you guys are excited and ready for a good event in Clearwater. So I will jump into the weather briefing. We'll do this one similar to all of the other US Open forecasts for the format. So I'll start kind of broad scope and then narrow down as we go and focus on the details of each day. If you guys have questions, definitely type them into the chat box and we'll make sure that they get answered. And don't hesitate to ask questions earlier rather than later. So yeah, I'll get going. So let's start off with a kind of a broad picture of what's going on now and today. So what we have is, if you guys have friends up in the Northeast or anyone up in that area, you'll know there was a big snowstorm there the last couple of days. We can see that that is actually pushing out of the region. So here's that low pressure, and there's a big cold front and the big storm that came through. All that activity is moving off to the east. So what we have over Florida is pretty blue skies. It's been really, really nice day. The last 2 days, lots of wind, but clear skies and cool temperatures. So we can take a look at what that looks like on the actual weather map. So what we're looking at here is the model forecast. So it's not exact conditions, but this is the GFS model forecast. Looking at the isobars are the black lines, so high pressures and low pressures, and the colors represent different wind speeds along with these wind barbs that you see here. So here's that big storm that we were talking about that's getting out of the way off in the Atlantic side, all that wind. And what we're watching for this regatta coming up is basically we have a wedge of high pressure and cold air mass. So this whole area right here is all a big wedge north to south of high pressure and cold air mass. And we're going to watch and see what happens to this area of generally light winds and this high pressure area as we go forward in time. Okay, so this is starting off today. I'm going to scroll forward into tomorrow. So here's tomorrow morning. You can see the high has shifted east. It's basically going to be across the southeast US, and there's a big chunk right over Florida. So we'll talk about what that means, but generally lighter winds tomorrow, probably clear skies. If we go forward into Friday, you can see that high pretty quickly dives southeast and is way off the coast over here by Friday morning. Now, the second little interesting piece we're going to watch for the weekend is a front that's going to attempt to come in. Okay, and the front is coming off of this low pressure system that's across the Great Lakes. And the front, I don't know if you can see it, but right here on early Friday morning, it's basically just getting down to the Gulf Coast, the northern Gulf Coast there. So we're going to watch that front and see where it goes here for Friday afternoon. So if that's Friday morning, Friday afternoon, we can see it doesn't move a whole lot into Florida. So it basically is just crossing the panhandle right here on Friday afternoon. So it's losing speed. It's not a very strong cold front, and it's definitely not as strong as the last one that we just had. Okay, so the last one was real strong, big push of cold air. This one is just barely going to make it into the region. So going forward into Saturday, you can see that front with these colored stronger winds. It's got northerly winds behind it. It is very slowly pushing down across Florida. So this is Saturday morning now. So the front is basically stalling right across Florida. As we go forward, you can see it doesn't even make it into the southern half of Florida. It sort of washes out on Saturday. That whole system is already gone off the coast, off to the northeast. And so there is a lingering frontal boundary, just a stalled area right in here, basically right over Clearwater. So this is for Saturday. We're going to have to watch some showers, maybe thunderstorms, and then very unsettled conditions as far as winds go on Saturday. So I'll tell you what that means here in just a couple minutes. Once that front stalls, basically then what happens on Sunday is we start to get a new low pressure center. So you see that L pop up there on Sunday morning. A new low pressure center overnight forms in the Gulf, shoots across Florida, and then will continue off to the northeast here and become a system off the coast. And eventually that does cause the front on Monday to push across Florida. We're not sailing on Monday, so we're not too worried about it. But we're dealing with that stalled front Saturday and Sunday there. And so exactly where it stalls is a little bit uncertain. That gives a little uncertainty into the forecast for the exact wind directions. So we'll have to kind of watch that a little closer as time goes on. All right, so those are kind of the big factors. I just wanted to show you really quick what the air mass is going to do. So what we're looking at here is the temperature anomaly. So this is basically just blue colors mean it's colder than normal air. Red and orange colors mean it's warmer than normal air. So that's all we really need to know. And I'll show you how the air mass is going to change over the next few days. It's basically much colder than normal over Florida today. The high was only, low 60s. So if we go forward into Thursday, we see this cold air mass, that's that high pressure. It's going to start to move offshore. And then as we go into Friday, you can see it starts to turn very normal temperatured, and even starting to get warmer than normal by Friday afternoon. Friday afternoon, we've got the warmer sector over us. So we've got temperatures basically up closer to 70 again, which is closer to normal. And then for Saturday, you can see where that front is stalled. So you see where those two colors clash. There's the front basically stalled really close to Clearwater. So just to the north, there is cooler air and more of a northerly wind. And on the bottom, the southern side of the front, there is southerly wind and warmer air mass there. Okay, so these two are going to be kind of fighting each other for our wind on Saturday, figuring out exactly what's going on there. All right, so we will jump into the detailed forecasts now. So I'm going to start with Thursday, so that's tomorrow. For that, I just want to show you guys the local, this is basically Sailflow or iWindsurf. If you use that site, this is basically the same thing. I like this site, Clearwater Beach. So I like to click on that. And it tells you what the wind has been doing. So there's our northwest wind today. I'm going to go to forecast and I'm going to take a look at the high resolution HRRR, which only really gives us a small picture into tomorrow morning. So we're going to, let's look at this one. This is the Sailflow weather model that is a little bit better for going out into tomorrow afternoon. So what we can see is that basically we have kind of this light easterly in the morning. That's from the high pressure sitting right over us. In the middle of the day, the winds get fairly light and turn more into the south, okay? Then we go into a stronger southwesterly in the afternoon. That's from that new front coming in, okay? So basically this light wind here from the east or northeast turning southeast, this is all from that high pressure center. We're gonna see a slow right trend into the afternoon, maybe an hour or two of quite light winds when it's from the south. And then for the second part of the afternoon, we have an increase from the south-southwest. And that is, like I said, that new front that's starting to push in. That's the gradient from that. So if we look at our forecast table for tomorrow, here's that weather map for tomorrow. I showed you the high pressure right over Florida. And here's our forecast table. So like I said, light midday, early afternoon winds. Generally, we're looking at a right shift, although I do think it's going to be quite shifty in the morning and early afternoon hours because it's basically high pressure. And when you have high pressure, you've got probably colder air over the land, and the wind tends to flow from the land quite a lot in the morning. And then in the afternoon, it will slowly trend to a more offshore wind. Okay, so that's what we have here with a northeast turning east, 5 to 9, 4 to 8 knots. In the afternoon, going to the south-southeast, 160 to 180. Remember how I said when it goes into the south, it probably is going to get quite light for a bit, maybe 2 to 5 knots for a brief period of time. And what we have to watch out for in this 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock time frame is the potential for a sea breeze maybe trying to develop. All right, so our water temperatures are really cold, 60. And inland, the temperature is going to be getting close to 64, so which is right at the cusp of a sea breeze trying to form. I don't think the sea breeze will actually form, but if it tries to, it will kill whatever wind is there. Okay, so it might be quite light for an hour or two tomorrow as there's some heating effects going on because of a thermal. Okay, but later in the day, I said that gradient was coming in. So basically between 2 and 3 o'clock, that south-southwest gradient will come in, and we should get back up to like 6 to 10, 7 to 11 knots in the afternoon. All right, so that is Thursday. Let's go forward to Friday. So remember Friday, we've got the front just entering the panhandle. This green is showing rain, so we might have a slight chance of some showers here on Saturday. So our wind directions are mostly southerly. We're looking at decent moderate wind speeds, 11 to 16, maybe up to 12 to 17 at times. It's going to be starting to get a little bit cloudier. So the cloudier it gets, the lighter the wind speed will probably be. So we need to think about how the cloudiness affects the wind speed. Okay, so if it's really sunny, you'll probably have more wind speed. If it's starting to get quite cloudy, the winds might lower a little bit. That cold front is stalling to the north, and our high temperature is basically right around 71. All right, let's take a look at Saturday. So Saturday, this is the day that's a little bit uncertain. Remember how I said that front is basically stalling right over Clearwater. On this front, they've got this red circle around us, which means there's a chance of thunderstorms. So we will have to kind of watch out for some thunderstorms on the frontal boundary that's stalling, okay? Now, the wind direction on Saturday is going to depend a lot on whether or not this boundary stalls just north of Clearwater or just south of Clearwater. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean. The windy.com depiction is pretty good. So on Saturday, you can see the European model. It has this front stalling just to the north of Clearwater, and we're basically in a southerly wind during the day. So this is one option that could happen. The GFS, which is the other model, you can see has the front just to the south of Clearwater, just south of mouth of Tampa Bay, and we're in a northeast wind, and a little bit stronger northeast wind. So really hard to get an exact wind direction for Saturday, but we know it's going to be one of these two scenarios. If it's from the northeast or east, it's probably going to be quite a bit windier. So we can see that in this scenario, we have like 10 to 15 knots for most of the day. It's right trending going into the east. If we have the European scenario, we're in a lighter southerly wind, right? And I think this scenario is a little bit less likely, so I didn't put it in the table. I think most likely we'll be more in the east wind. But if we are in the southerly wind, just know, we could be really close to this boundary here, and the winds could be pretty light if the boundary ends up like how it is in this picture, where it's right in between. Okay, so for the forecast, I went ahead and just gave us the northeast to east winds. I think the front will have just enough push to kind of get through Clearwater. So I've got basically 10 to 14 in the morning, slowly coming down a little bit and trending right into the afternoon. We'd have to watch out for some thunderstorms, but for the most part, I think it's just going to be fairly light rain and cloudy. The high is only 70, so still a little chilly. It will be warmer if you're in a southerly wind. It'll be a little cooler if you got the northeasterly wind. Okay, so let's talk about Sunday. A little bit of what happens on Sunday depends on Saturday and exactly where the front is. But we do know that this front is going to be starting to lift out and move out of the way by Sunday. So remember how I said we've got some low pressures that are developing on the stalled front? That's right there. Then we've got this red circle here for some chance of thunderstorms that we have to watch out for on the frontal boundary. So a little bit more rain on Sunday in the forecast, mostly cloudy. And for the most part, I think the front will have basically pushed through because that low is going to lift out. So I think we probably have a northeast wind. It might go easterly on us. We'll have to see, again, exactly where the front is. But basically, it's a little bit lighter than Saturday. We're probably at 6 to 10 knots in the morning, and then somewhere in 4 to 8, 5 to 9 in the middle of the day. In the later afternoon, the wind should pick up a little bit as the low moves further away from us. So probably more of a northerly wind. But Saturday and Sunday are definitely subject to change a little bit based on what that front is going to do. All right. So let's see, I think that's all I have for you guys. If you have any questions, you can put them into the chat box. Hopefully I didn't go through that too fast for you, but happy to go back and look at any of the parts that I may have gone through too quickly. So if you guys have to go off to your skippers meeting, I know that's coming up next. So good luck this weekend. And if you have questions, I can stay on for another minute or so.
All right. Thank you so much, Chelsea. Remember, this recording will be here on YouTube for anyone who missed the live session. Competitors, your skippers meeting link is on the website under the notice board and will begin shortly. So head to that link and we'll see you there. I'm also going to put the link in the comments right now. And as always, thank you for tuning into the Starboard Portal. Thank you, Chelsea, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Good luck this weekend.